Hello folks, welcome back.
Hello, hello.
I'm here with Owen from Organic Cardboard, and we have just played another game of Nemesis Retaliation.
We did. We played it.
It's sort of Klingon style. By that I mean we died with honor.
Yeah, well.
Or as close to it as we could get.
Yeah. We finished the game knowing that we were going to die. But yeah, we got through it.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It ended with me dragging him to a room, and ultimately we were barbecued alive. With that in mind, let's tell you a little bit about how this game plays. I'm not going too deep into the rules, so I'll give you a brief overview of how Nemesis works. This is the end game state, so this is kind of, this is how we died here at the end. And let's talk a little bit about how it plays. Just a little note that some of the items you're going to see around the board are from an expansion terrain pack and not part of the regular set that you get from the core box. When you start a game, you're going to pick if you're doing co-op or you're doing a regular game. If you're doing co-op, you're just going to pick 2 objective cards. You do have to accomplish both objectives, but only one person really has to live. It plays a little bit differently if you play it semi-co-op, which is sort of the spirit of the game, but it still plays just fine this way. There's a draft where each person picks their characters and they get some associated cards. These cards are specific to this character, and then the same is true for every character. They have their own set of cards. And on your turn, you're going to play a sequence of actions. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to draw up 5 cards into your hand, or you'll have them already, unless you're injured or something. And you'll be able to either play the cards face value, so basically do exactly what it says on the card, and then put it aside, or you can, without doing what it says, you can just burn the card to do any number of actions. There's a cheat sheet right here on the side of the board that shows you every action that you're able to do. Some of these have this little marker here which indicates that you can't do it if an intruder is in the room with you. But you basically are going to have to ditch a card to do most things, like use equipment or use your other little things that are connected to you that way. And you'll go until your hand is done, and then you're going to pass. Now, in this specific version of Nemesis, if there's no oxygen on in the room, every time you take a turn, you've got to count your oxygen down 1 marker. But please note that you also have to take oxygen to take pass. Passing is an action, so if you don't pass as part of like the second thing that you've done, then you're going to have to take another oxygen. Then after everyone passes, you've got a little cheat sheet here that kind of shows all the rest of the game. Basically, the board will react. The first thing that happens is any intruders on a space with fire would take some damage, like the queen would get a little damage, that guy would get a little damage. And then the next thing that happens is intruders attack. So if we were like this at the end of the round, then that intruder would be attacking one of us. Each set of intruders has a unique set of these cards, and one of them is the attack. So if you were being attacked, flip this over, and you could reference the type of intruder it is on the left, and then the result on the right. And then discard. And after all that, the game continues to try to mess with you, because the next thing that happens is you're going to draw an event card. Now, much like the attacks, there's an event card just for these guys, and you pull that out, and it's almost always something awful, and you just kind of resolve it from top to bottom. These cards will move the intruders around and cause other things to happen. Usually there's something really terrible at the bottom, like this one is causing us to resolve a danger, which means we're just pulling a token out of the bag and getting attacked by something. Nice! Then the next thing you're going to do for the game is to develop the bag, the intruder bag development. The queen has this little cheat sheet for what happens when you pull things out of the bag. And during the bag development, you're just going to pull one of these tokens and look at it. In this case, I got the blank, which means add 2 adults tokens to the bag. Go over here to my handy dandy little holder, grab 2 more adults and put them in the bag along with the blank, and then that's how the bag matures. All these different things will happen depending on what you pull out. So throughout the game, you're going to end up getting different types of monsters, and even the queen will eventually arrive. And she's mean. The last thing you do during this part is sort of a reset. The starting player is going to change over to the next person. The round marker will go down, and you draw up more action cards, depending on how you're sitting at that moment. A lot of times you'll have injuries and other things that might prevent you from drawing extra action cards, or how you move around and stuff. You'll be tracking your injuries as you move through here. If you get a serious injury or something like that, it can block you up, and so you can never heal back all the way back down until this serious injury has been taken care of. There are a lot of little rules in this game, and for that reason I think they've got a lot of cheat sheets around the player board. You can see these on the side, and of course your little pass card has some stuff too. There's a lot of little rules to this game, a mixture of a lot of little rules and kind of like an overall kind of procedural kind of steps, especially with how you use your cards. We've got cheat sheets on here. We've got this here too to remind you how to take care of the game's turn and your own turn on the other side. There is a fair amount of dice rolling in this. Like these dice do different things. This one you roll for noise, so whenever you move to a new room, you're going to roll this die to see which of the numbered corridors end up with noise tokens. This one is for combat inside of a room, so if you've got a gun that can shoot and there's something in the room with you, you can shoot at it. This is a burst, so this is another shooting thing, but this is for shooting things in the corridor, and it's like you expending a lot of ammunition. So let's say these guys, just that guy or maybe a couple of guys were in the corridor, you could shoot at them with one of these burst die. That would be a really bad roll for these. Another bit of randomness that can happen is if I go to explore a new room and I want to see what happens, I go to this deck specific intruder specific deck for exploration, and I flip it over, and it'll tell me at the top what type of room it is. In this case, I would count myself lucky because it was an A room. So I go to my little stack of A's, and I'll stick it down here. Now in this case, this side had already been discovered, and so it would kind of break the rules for that. So that this ended up being the same. This won't exist because it's kind of late in the game, and this is already there. So, but normally, if this was kind of out on its own, I would put another one of these corridors there, and then put a noise token in it. And then, of course, this indicates that this room is on fire. And you can kind of read down these things too. A lot of times intruders will appear in the corridor behind you and stuff, like they followed you in. But every time you move to a new room, you have to make a noise roll. I rolled a 3. And that works out good for me because these are both 2s. If one of these had been a 3 and it had this on it, then I would be pulling a token from the bag and then referring to that queen's chart here for what happens. But of course, if I'd rolled a number and it wasn't there, then I would just put a little noise marker there, and it would be kind of primed for next time somebody comes in here. Another thing that's really different in this Nemesis versus the other one is the queen has this health track. So as you're doing damage, if you manage to get up here, you'll be able to pull a card out, and that card's going to tell you how many more cards you're going to pull. And some other effect, like repel the queen, you can send her off someplace else. And then you just remove another card. I don't think you're supposed to look at it, but there's a number of these, and some of them have pretty high values. I think there's a 3 in here. Yeah, that is awesome to find, because if I happen to do that, do the damage, that's 1, 2, 3 more cards. She's got a fair amount of them, but at least it's possible to actually take her out if you're in the position to do so. Then of course, after you work out your cards that you're pulling out, this gets reset back to 0. But hopefully that gives you a sense of what you're going to do on your turn and how this game operates. there's a lot deeper dive I could go into that would be like an hour long if I explained all the rules to you, but I just want to kind of give you a sense of how it plays. It's also worth mentioning that I've taken the time to paint these miniatures, and we'll be showing those to you as we go through this. I've already done a video about how I painted the intruders and stuff, and like a quick technique if you would like to get that going. But I've also painted everything else for Nemesis that I bought, so we'll be showing that to you too. All right, so Nemesis it's billed as a horror game.
Mm-hmm. It's Aliens, the board game.
Yeah, mm-hmm. It's
legally distinct,
intellectually distinct, barely from Aliens, and it is more like Aliens, where there's hordes of aliens coming at you, not just one mean one, which is a little bit. It's kind of like all of them. Like the very first version of Nemesis, you were on a ship, and they were coming at you that way, and there was a lot more than one. And the second one, you're on a space station. It's kind of the same thing, but you're sort of civilians and all those. And the big difference in this one is we're all
Marines.
Yeah, Space Marines. So even the medics we've all got equipment and grenades and guns, and you actually stand a chance against the aliens to some degree, at least more than last time.
The old one, you just ran away from them. Basically, you just tried to
Well, you could attack them, but it did almost nothing, and then you run out of bullets really easy, and it's really hard to refuel and stuff.
Yeah,
so
but there's also a lot less of them too, right?
Much less. In fact, you can go half the game without really even triggering them. Where I was taking serious wounds like right away.
Yeah, it was rough.
They don't all go the way that this last one went.
No.
And we played a couple, but it's a crisis management simulator based in space. and dealing with things like infection and invasion and stuff like that. So if you've got some objectives, there's a couple of ways to play, just like all the other Nemesis. You got your semi-co-op and you got your co-op. I almost always play it co-op. It just kind of makes more sense to me.
Yeah, it's already hard enough as co-op. Try to get some kind of like traitor victory or something. It's like
I'd be tempted to do it maybe with more people.
Yeah,
but I always end up kind of playing it 2-player. So
maybe at 4 you'd end up having more of a shot at the win conditions, and then you could throw a traitor in there, and then they could potentially win as a traitor.
And it's always like a potential traitor. There's interesting mechanisms and stuff where you get to draw extra action cards depending on who's the first one to pick.
Yeah,
to choose their objective.
I think the traitor is probably a mechanic to make it more interesting for people that have all played the game a lot, and they know more or less like the best ways to get to victory, and then they want to throw that extra. Like they've already played the game enough that they know it so well, they want to throw that one extra element in it.
Well, we've seen guys like that at our game shops and stuff too. They'll play Frosthaven every weekend. Yeah. In fact, they were playing the original Nemesis.
There was a lot of Nemesis being played there. Yeah.
So, so folks like that, if you're going to meet up and play this game every week, you might want to mix it up.
Yeah.
And put a little danger in each other's.
Make it even more thematic than it already is.
Yeah, I guess wouldn't you say that's probably the defining element of this? Yes,
absolutely. I was saying that to Sean. I think this is the most thematic game, just the series in general, not just this. This one is where are we at in the name of it? The newest one.
This is Retaliation.
Retaliation. This is only the third game of any Nemesis that I've played. So, the whole series though I think is just as thematic on each one of them, and that's like the main attribute of the game is the theme, and it plays it really well. It does theme better than any other game I think I've played.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's so enjoyable that I still like the other two versions of Nemesis. Like I want to keep them.
Yeah.
Even though I probably should sell, I should sell one of them at least. But well, this one's different enough from the other two. But the first two have so many similarities. The second one, I kind of liked the second one a little bit better in some ways, but maybe it was because it was newer at the time. I'll have to go back and try to play each of them again. I played the original one with Owen when we were waiting on this to arrive to kind of get him juiced up.
Oh, and I know we're not trying to talk about the old ones, but they are all very similar, at least again in the theme, and that was. I mean, like, there's games that I like better to play, but that was probably the best board game experience I'd ever had. I think was just because of how tight it was, and then there was all this. It was like a movie being played out. It was really good, and we did win it. So I mean, but barely at the end, and Sean died on the ship that we were escaping on. So that was really really fun. We had one survivor that technically did give us a true victory, but it was really good, and it felt again like any great Aliens movie that I was watching as I was playing it.
Especially dying in your bunk on the way home.
Yeah,
that really sums up one of these movies where they struggle, and you just want them to win. You want them to win, and then ultimately somebody dies.
Yeah, I was like, Sean was like, you should just take off and leave. And I was like, I ain't leaving you. You're coming with me. I get him on there all hurt, and then he ends up dying. I have to shoot him in the head, basically, because he turns into an alien.
Rico, you know what to do.
that was our own personal flavor that we threw into the story of him dying on the ship. But we're not really talking about the old one. The main thing with this one, I think, the difference is probably, like you said, that you're being a lot more combative. It's a lot more Zombicide-like in that way. It doesn't feel like Zombicide, but other than that,
you don't level up. It's like the whole time you're sort of diminishing your abilities.
Yeah, but you do get certain much smaller hordes than what you do in Zombicide. But you do get big groupings that you can deal with on this game where you can't deal with them on the older one, right? You're basically just like, if there's a bunch there's never really a bunch in the other one, though. They're just really powerful, each one of them. So
I think with this one, it's interesting too. It introduced a burst mechanism. So when you shoot in the room, you don't use your ammunition, that's new too, because apparently you've got a lot. I think that's how they represent it. There is one face of the die that has bullets on it, and if you roll that, then you have to flip your bullets over. The bullet tokens are double-sided, so one side is full and the other side's like half of your bullets. If you shoot into a hallway where you're going to be shooting the gun a whole lot, you can use this burst die, and you will have to flip your bullets over when you do that. But you have potential to hit a lot of them, up to 4, and it just straight up kills them versus having to do what you do when you attack them in a room, which can take a long time potentially.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of just like the other ones. There's a lot of luck involved with the game. I mean, but man, they do that luck in such a great way, because it's like, and I've said this the last couple times that we played and lost on this version of the game too. Both of them that I played with Sean, we lost. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed again, that theme just comes out so strongly that it's like, well, you're watching an Aliens movie where they don't survive at the end, and nobody survives at the end, but it's still all this stuff going on, and like all these little personal stories that get developed as you're watching it happen. I mean, they're really memorable, the games are, and but yeah, so with luck, things like Sean was saying, you're going to shoot somebody, you might end up burning more bullets than you meant to. You got one out of a D8 that might do that to you, but otherwise you're mostly able to do damage without losing bullets that way. And then there's lucky things too, where you just straight up kill what you're shooting. So there's one of those. So, and it seems like you'll go through runs in the game where, and I guess just for probability aspect, where you're going to get really lucky and then really unlucky, and it's maybe going to go back and forth, and it just depends how everything sets up, if you're going to end up like you really there's no way to math this game out and win it.
No.
But there is certainly, experience that you gain from playing a game that you would maybe be able to make better decisions. But it's so tactical. You got to change everything you're doing according to the events that are coming out. And,
you're making decisions and stuff. Like, it doesn't take that part of it away, but they may be fruitless because ultimately you are going to be kind of bent to the luck. And if there are some people that just can't stand that, can't stand basically control freaks.
yeah.
If you have to control every aspect of it, that's not what this game is about.
In fact, I know people that really don't like to play like most of your average Euro kind of games where you do have like, mostly all your decisions or everything that happens in the game is what you're doing. They don't like to even play those at more than 2 players because it's not as competitive. Like if you've got some market that's cycling out as people are taking things, and you don't know what the game state's going to be by the time 3 other people go and your turn comes around, and they're just like, they don't even like to play like that. So it's definitely not a game for people that want to have this like chess-like control or this, Terra Mystica type control over a game where they're able to really, it's all about their decisions and stuff like that. Because the game really throws a bunch of wrenches in the gears constantly at you, and that's kind of what it's about, is reacting to those and having funny things happen and dire situations, and then getting out of those dire situations. I think that's the real rewarding aspect of the game, where that's where the fun comes in, is like dealing with, like you said, crisis management and being able to rise above it or die terribly, but like, just like a movie, you watch somebody struggle and then they might die at the end, but the movie was still good because there was a lot of like crazy stuff that happened in it, and that kind of happens here.
It's funny. It's really, you want to get out of this. You want to accomplish your goal and get out with as few event cards as possible, because at the end of all your actions are played with these cards. When you run out of cards, you have to pass, and as you pass, then you go through this whole cycle where the aliens attack you or burn if they're in a room that's on fire, and then you start in with the events. The events are basically all the stuff breaking around you. Things catch fire. Sometimes you get lucky and nothing much happens, especially early on when there's not a lot of rooms exposed. But later on, all these unexplored corridors are going to get noise markers on them, which could bring things out. All the things will break, things like oxygen tanks you've turned on, because you can suffocate in this game if you don't find the rooms with oxygen and turn them on. That's another luck thing.
Yeah,
is going through the rooms. You might not get to the rooms that you need.
In fact, when you're setting up your the game, you get the option to choose which 4 tokens you're going to throw in your tactical belt, because everything's tactical in this game. But it's either going to be more ammo, more oxygen, some
grenades,
grenades, or some of these health packs. And you really don't know what you're going to need, because like the last game we played, I think I went in with 1 oxygen tank, and I was like, we'll find some oxygen. And I struggled hard on oxygen. I think I was like, like maybe even taking, I don't know if I took damage while we were doing that on oxygen. So this time I was like, well, I'll make sure I got some oxygen. I threw a couple oxygen tanks in, and we very quickly found the 2 oxygen rooms that we needed in the game. So then those kind of became obsolete, because you have these goals. You're going to have 2 goals when you're playing the game, and they may be different. You might have to explore more of the ship than you otherwise would have. But we didn't have to explore as much with our goals, and the little bit that we did, we very quickly were able to find the rooms that we needed. So there was that. It's like I would have maybe taken some more. It
wasn't nearly a deciding factor this game as it has been in other games.
I mean, if I knew how this game was going to play, I probably would have taken nothing but med packs because we took a lot of damage early on. But that's part of the luck and the fun, and just. You get to make some decisions. You're setting the game up, but the game doesn't care about your plans. It's all about
bogging you down.
Yeah, throwing stuff at you and you having to react.
The one time oxygen was a question, I'd moved into an area that we haven't found the oxygen tank for it. Mm-hmm. And then I get attacked. So I'm in there fighting aliens for like almost another whole round, just kind of slowly losing air the whole time.
Yeah, in fact, I was like holding back cards, trying to get to Sean to be able to, because there's a mechanic in the game where you'll when you're taking these attacks from the aliens, you can just straight up take these wound cards, these heavy, what they call them, serious wound cards, and they really impede you. So like very early on, Sean had one. Well, first off, it takes off like almost a third of your health, basically a third of your health. Mm-hmm. You got 10 health, but it takes 3 of it off. And he had one that took away his card draws. So like very early in the game, he was drawing one less card every round, which is a 20% less cards when you're drawing 5 cards every round, and that's a big impact.
You feel it.
So I wanted, as the medic, I wanted to get in there, and I had a card that would let me heal Sean from his wounds. But it's like I was like even holding those back a couple rounds where you can hold on to your cards instead of discarding them and then just draw up to your hand limit. And I don't think in those 2 rounds I wasn't even able to get to Sean till like he already had a second heavy wound that was the same as the first, so it's like I had to get rid of both of them.
You might as well spend the card just to go shoot at something and then draw it back later.
Yeah, and so the game, I think it maybe rewards you for being bold, and trying to like be like, well, I know I need to get that, but it's I don't want to waste not using this card to like hope that I'm going to get in there with you, because we don't know how the game state's going to change from one event phase to the other, or from one noise phase to the other.
And you definitely want to make every round count as much as you can, because like I said, the fewer event cards you have to survive, the better. Yeah,
action economy is huge in the game, so that was a really big detriment to us early on when your action economy was hindered very sorely, and then double hindered again.
You can get really messed up. So in each intruder that you fight, so this game's sort of modular too, and I don't know if they've got a lot of aliens made for Retaliation. I think it's just there's just 3. There's these guys and there's these other 2. One I didn't get, the red ones, Sangivores or something, and the other one I haven't played with much. Is some sort of mechanical version of.
Oh well, okay.
Another thing that luck gives you is the ability to play with younger people, but this is probably more complicated than I would think. I don't know. You get a real rambunctious 12-year-old. You probably get on playing it.
I think you could, especially if you're running the game for them. They don't have to handle all of the management, all of the upkeep of the game.
And there's nothing really gross or disturbing. The aliens are kind of taking you out, but there's nothing in it that's too terrible.
Yeah, I mean, probably the grossest thing is just these little dead miniatures where you've got somebody that's kind of blah, and if you don't have it painted, you can barely even see it anyways, but Sean's got his all painted with some blood next to him.
And you only really get that stuff in the bonus content.
Yeah, and it's a little gory, but it's nothing too bad. But yeah, it's mostly just scary aliens, and they're not even that scary. I mean, there's not even really too. I guess if you're a little kid, you might look at something like some of these little gory. I mean, they're not even that gory, but it's just some scary alien. I'm trying to think about when I was a little kid, and I used to see some of these weird like CDs and stuff that they would be like these weird art drawn into them. I remember a few of them that had a bunch of kind of like dead images of things and stuff, and that level of like fear that you'd have. But yeah, it's totally fine for a younger kid.
I mean, if you're super opposed to violence, you're probably not watching this video anyway.
Right, yeah.
But like I was saying, I think it would be good. I think this would be good for like those preteens and that. Mm-hmm. If you're thinking about that as like a family game.
Yeah. It
is very stressful, and there is a the semi-co-op nature of it, if you choose to play that way, is perfect for brothers. Mm-hmm. Thanksgiving.
That's true.
You want to screw your cousin over.
Of course, you just automatically assume the other person's going to be the traitor at that point.
Yeah, then you just...
yeah.
It's like, can I be the traitor? I just want to choose that.
But yeah, the kids have to also... I guess it's maybe a good experience for them, too, to be okay with the idea of losing, because you are going to lose often on this game, I think, right?
Yeah. If you got somebody that's extremely competitive and stuff, if they're going to freak out and say, this is the game to make it happen.
Yeah, so I could see that as being the one thing that like younger kids might not understand really well, is that it's still fun to play
and lose,
even though you're going to lose a lot of the time, because they might just be like, we lost, that sucked, terrible.
Yeah, no matter how you play this game, it's hard to play. Like in terms of, it's hard to win.
Yeah,
put it that way. It's not. It is a little bit heavier game than a lot of the ones I pull out. Yeah,
there's a lot of rules, a lot of things, but it's not that's that thing again about it being complex. It's a little complex, but it's not too complicated. Like, it's not too complicated to actually play it. Like, and the difference of that being that, like, complexity means that there's a lot of parts and things going on, but it's not very complicated to figure out what you're going to do on your turn and, like, how your turns are going to play out.
Yeah.
You got this cheat
once you get your action cards and you got the cheat sheets and stuff to refer to, I don't think it's that bad.
No, it really isn't. And
if you played another Nemesis before, it's just a few more rules, a few different rules to learn.
And the only thing about, like, the complicated nature of it is just like, I could spend 2 cards and run in here, but maybe I'll save that card. What do I do? And you're kind of conversing with your buddy, but it's really just like, what roll of the die, like, what kind of gamble do you want to play? That's the only complicated part, because either one might be the better decision. A lot of times it's the one that you didn't do that's the better decision, but there's no way of knowing what that is, so it's not really, there's nothing really there's never at a point in this game I feel like I'm breaking my brain. So yeah, it's just which bad decision which bad decision
will
you
you settle on.
But it's that's just part of the charm of the game. It's part of the thematic nature of it, that things are supposed to go bad. It's not supposed to be a cakewalk to be in a spaceship full of these, highly evolved predators that are able to just, do crazy bites and contaminate you and send larvae into your chest.
Yeah, and I think what it kind of comes down to, if you're trying to judge if this game's right for you, you got to be okay with the fact that it's a crisis management crisis management game. It's not going to be for everyone. This is one of those birthday games, we call them, where usually my best chance of convincing my family to play with me is some time when they owe me the time.
Yeah.
And I get to pick whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
If you have the other Nemesis games, I guess you had to decide what you want. You definitely, let me say this about any of the Nemesis games. They put out a ton of content. Like I was saying, there's more aliens and stuff. You don't need it all. You don't need it all. Each sitting for this game is going to be, I'd say, minimum 3 hours. Like, even...
Well, we lost in about 2.5.
Okay.
But we had a pretty bad...
If you're going to win...
We had a pretty bad setup. And if we were continuing to win, it would at least gone another half hour.
Yeah, if we got extremely lucky, we probably could have finished it off in another half hour or so. But... It's typically 3, and then when I play with my wife, sometimes it's 4.5 hours. So it's the long game. It's going to be one of those longer games, and that's not for everyone. The other thing is, like I was saying, you don't need all the content because it's not going to come out very often. You can play with this one set of aliens. You can go get just the base set of any of the versions of Nemesis and not get any of the extra stuff.
Yeah,
some of it's fun. Like there's fun stuff like replacements for the tokens. You got all, different replacement objects and stuff that you'll see in the painted stuff, and like the first player token and stuff. There's a few chits that are replaced with plastic, but a lot of these modular things you can just kind of skip, because if you could just get the base box, play it, and see how much you're playing it. If you're playing it every weekend, maybe you want to go and get some more. My bet is you'll play it maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
You'd have to play it quite a bit in order to feel like, okay, we need some new content. And at that point, it's very valid to go ahead and, if you're playing the game that much, then yeah, by all means, go get the new content. But like Sean said, you really don't need more than the base game.
The marketing that Awaken Realms does with this stuff seems to be very FOMO driven. They've got they have a lot of products. And if you're a person like I was initially on this, and you're sort of driven to try to get all of it. I mean, they sell a lot of stuff that doesn't even have game. Like, you can replace the queens with kings.
Oh, yeah.
And
it doesn't even change anything.
It doesn't change the mechanics at all. It's just more miniatures to sell you and stuff. You don't need it. Just get your base copy. I think I enjoy this one more than the others because I feel a little bit more empowered. I like the way the extra rules work. I like the way you can kill the queen on this one a little bit more.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a boss that you're having to deal with, and the little extra boss mechanics. And it's fun running through the deck because when you pull a card off, a lot of them will tell you to pull additional cards off. You can get lucky, again, the luck thing, so you never know. Like, things can be really dire on the game, and all of a sudden you get a big lucky run, and you can have some really strong things happen that all of a sudden get you out of those tight spots. And I think
it feeds you a little hope now and then.
I think they want to set that up when they were making this game, is they wanted to set up these dire situations and also like these avenues for you to slip away from them, and it's really rewarding to see that happen on the game when that does work out for you. I like that quite a bit.
It's a fairly expensive game, but it's one I'm glad I bought it.
Yeah, I'm glad Sean bought it too. I feel no need to get it myself since I've got, Sean's got all the content and has it painted. And it's one of those things that I'm not going to be playing by myself. Is there you can solo this too?
You totally can.
Yeah.
In fact, I was going to mention too, if you're a solo player, this is a good solo. It's a lot to pull out, and it's long. But if you got a table where you kind of like wander over, play for a little while, or you got your whole family leaving town and you want to spend your whole Saturday night doing something cool all alone.
Having your own movie night on the board. Yeah,
I played all of the versions of Nemesis solo, including this one, and I like it. You're basically playing in co-op mode. You pull out as many characters as you feel like your brain can handle. It is a little bit easier, I think, with more characters. I hesitate to play with other people with multiple characters and stuff because it kind of gets to be a bit much.
Yeah, so it's a little more. It's nothing like playing Gloomhaven double-handed or four-handed or whatever, because those cards are a lot harder to understand and how well they play.
Different combinations.
Yeah, I mean that one. It's like that particular game is definitely best played with at least one other person to handle the mental whatever landscape of dealing with all your actions and how they work. This one, at least, your cards are fairly easy to understand.
And you get that limited set, especially when you take contamination and even have less choices to make because you got those contamination cards clogging up your hand. So,
but I said that I wouldn't buy this game because I know Sean's got it and he's just down the road from me. But if I didn't have any access to this game, I'd played it like with some friends once somewhere that I wasn't going to be able to get access to it. I would think about having a copy of it, and I would probably take again Sean's advice on saying that I would probably only get one core box of it, and that would probably be enough. I don't know if I played enough to really know if I like this one better than it kind of just depends. Do you want to be able to mow down aliens, or do you want to think that the aliens are stronger than they are in this game?
You can creep around on the other ones a little bit longer without having to fight the whole time because you can't fight very well.
Yeah, so if you like that zombicide effect of being able to mow some stuff down while you're playing, then this one's going to be better for you. If you like more of the tactics of just getting through and slipping around and
more dungeon crawlery kind of
then maybe go for the other ones. So I don't know. I mean, I would probably pick this one over the older ones, just maybe because it's newer and I have played it twice where I only played the other one once. So I don't have the most experience. I'm kind of like the more or less the
You're probably
hot take person of this review, but yeah,
you're probably more likely to find the older ones on sale and stuff.
Oh, that's true too.
And I feel like Lockdown goes on sale quite a lot, and that's a really good version of it too. I don't think, like, if I didn't already have them and haven't already painted everything, I wouldn't have both Lockdown and the original Nemesis.
Because they're so similar.
They're very similar to one another. This one is definitely stands out and it's unique. So,
in fact, Lockdown probably just has a few more like elements of rules and mechanics in it that maybe make it a little more interesting.
Well, yeah, Lockdown has got some different mechanics because you're on a space station, and but even in this one, you can bring all the characters. So in theory, you could play with the same characters from Nemesis and then have them in Lockdown, like they made it through that thing and then they got to Lockdown, and play them here. There are mechanics here where you can take those original characters and you trade out some of the cards to make them work a little bit better for this kind of game.
Which is only something you're going to do if you're a huge fan of the series. And
I will probably never get to this level of fandom.
And this isn't, and this I didn't follow.
There is a janitor in the Lockdown though. I would love to play the janitor here. He's got a water gun.
Yeah, he just keeps it going.
He just power washes them away.
He never stops. Janitor never stops. He makes it all the way to the end. These damn aliens keep showing up on every ship I go to. Gotta clean this up. I gotta clean this ship up.
Gotta clean this place too.
Clean it up.
What I found with every version of this game is that you can have a really great experience. Like, we were really fortunate that when we played the original Nemesis, that ended up being a real fun time.
Super fun.
There are times when it's not fun. Like, sometimes the luck goes all bad. And in fact, if that happens really early on in the game, just call it.
You might just reset it. Yeah.
If somebody's almost dead or dead in the second turn, just reset it. It's a lot less frustrating. And I hate to do games like that. I usually want to tough it out. This does have some player elimination, and that's the other thing that a lot of people hate. Because you can die, and then suddenly you're just sitting there waiting for the game to end, watching everybody else play. And the other versions of Nemesis, whoever died first could become the aliens and take control of them.
Yeah, give some agency in the game.
I don't remember reading that rule.
I died, so you all are gonna die too. Yeah.
Now I control the queen.
Yeah. And I mean, in that aspect, I guess, like, for the fun of the game, like, what are they gonna do? Like, run all the aliens away or something? Like, they're already. You gotta try to kill everybody if you're the aliens. But yeah, I don't know.
And although this wasn't my favorite game of 2025, it's not my top 5 or 6, I guess. But I did like it a lot. It's definitely it's in my solid top 10 games that I love. And
I've really enjoyed losing the past couple of times, and like for me, the fun of just seeing how everything plays out. Like, even after, because I think I died, but I died before you on the last one too, and it was still fun to even like, and I can still give input and still help with decisions, and you're kind of doing that anyways while you're playing. It's fun to just see what happens, and there's that small chance that you could get revived or something and come back, but it's pretty small unless you've already found the surgery room to get you there.
We did not.
We did not. It is in the first section, so it is one of the easier.
We were headed that way
to potentially find. But one knock that I have on the game, though, that I'm still not sure if there's some rule that we're missing, because I feel like there should be something for it. So I'd say it pretty often in your games, the objectives that you're going to draw out, you're going to have at least one where you have to explore a whole section. There's at least 3 out of however many objective cards that are in here, where you're going to have to explore like all of the A's, all of the B's, all of the C's. And when you're exploring a new room, you draw these exploration cards that tell you whether it's going to be that letters of that section on the ship, or it's going to be some random question mark one that could be any of the mix of question ones. And if you run through every section that you could, and you happen to just draw from the deck too many of those question mark ones, you could potentially get locked out of finding all of the ones to even be like as though like just because of your shuffle on the game, there's no chance that you could have won.
The other thing is sometimes there's a specific room.
Yeah.
And if you crowded out the whole area, like there's a zone for A, a zone for B, and a zone for C, and you could get too many question marks, you could
potentially never find the room. So
I think like if I haven't gone all the way through the deck to try it, but I think it could happen.
And I would want to house rule it in that regard, that if you search every room, and this may even be some odd rule that we've missed, but because I feel like there should be some for this, but if you've searched every possible room, that should count as having searched all of the A's or all the B's, all the C's, because there's no more that's potentially going to come out in the game at that point.
Yeah, so that was our objective this game, which is to find all the B's.
And we did. We found them almost immediately as soon as we started running through the B sections. That actually was the only 3 rooms we searched in B were the 3 B rooms. So
we got extremely lucky in that regard.
Yeah, well, we got
pretty much every other regard.
A little luck and a lot of bites.
Yeah, a lot of biting and scratching.
A lot of infectious bites and scratches and larvae. But man, it is just a fun experiential game, and not one to get overly butthurt about if you do lose.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll at least have some good experiences though while you're playing before you lose, if you're gonna lose, and it's not one of those situations where you just die in you're completely dire in the first 2 or 3 rounds.
You probably want to. I think for me, I always just assume I'll probably lose, and then hope for a happy.
Yeah. That's one of the driving factors in the game. I think is the hope. You know, try not to lose hope, even when one person's alive. You still like maybe we'll see. You want to see at least. You want to see what happens. So it doesn't feel like when you know that your chances are super slim that you are just like I don't want to play anymore. You know, I do want to still see, and it's kind of. Almost that. I guess you can say that there's a decent amount of like exploration in the games. You are exploring the ship, so just the exploration alone is kind of fun. You know, we've played games that are exploration games where there's no point to it, and it's still fun to just do the exploration component of it and seeing what you could potentially explore to potentially save my dead body. Not likely, but maybe.
Yeah, there's always a chance that you can make it that everything will just pan out and you'll very cleverly play your cards in just a way and then get lucky enough to do it.
Yeah.
But don't count on it.
Yeah,
because it probably won't happen.
But it's definitely worth your while, I think. It's a good game.
Yeah, go check it out. It's from Awakened Realms. It just came out this year, 2025. Might be a little difficult to find right now, but I'm sure more and more prints are going to be showing up very soon.
Check your local stores.
Folks, that's all we got for you today. Until next time, enjoy your games. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.